Ken Corla, and I very much welcome the bill, and I'd like to thank Minister O'Brien and Minister Burke for bringing this bill forward. And I've been listening to some of the debate in the last while, and I know most of the people who have spoken come from an urban constituency. I come from a rural constituency, and maybe see and hear very different testimonies than what some deputies would have. But I was some deputies opposite feel there is a very easy solution to this. There's no easy solution to this. If there was an easy solution, I think it would be solved years ago. And I'm taken by the previous contribution of the last speaker, who spoke about the tax for large and small landlords. And I was going to come in here and say that something similar, and I said to myself, if I say it, I'll be seen as pro-landlord. And I do feel that there is something needs to be done on the tax break for the smaller landlord, who's been charged 50%, and some of the very large corporate landlords. And I really see that if we had a reduction in the 50% for the smaller landlords, I think we would have a far better rental sector than what we do have. I'll put my hand up. I am a landlord. I disclose that in my returns on a yearly basis, and I would see myself as a very, very small landlord. I have 2 rental properties, and I would hope I'm seen as a good landlord. But in saying that, we have excellent landlords, we have excellent tenants. We have some terrible landlords and some terrible tenants. But Deputy Eoin O'Brien, opposite, treats every landlord the very same. They're pariahs, they're terrible, they shouldn't be in the field, yes? Yes, if you listen to yourself on national radio, I didn't come in here to disrupt you, so I'd appreciate if you didn't disrupt me. And
be honest in representing what I said.
Listen to some of your commentary on national radio. It is absolutely absurd the way you treat some of our really, really good landlords.
Simply not the case, Ken Corla.
I can give you plenty of experiences where I've had some terrible experiences of tenants, where the landlord has been really fair with them, where he has invested in the property that he or she owns, and the abuse that the tenant shows. And I really feel that there should be way more protections there for the landlord than what is there. And this is where I often question the Private Rental Tenancies Board and some of their outcomes, because it has been very unfair on the landlord. And yes, I'm very lucky that I own my own house, that I can go home to it in the evening time, have my family there, and that I do not have the worry and concern of when I will get that phone call of when I'm going to be uprooted, when I'm going to have to move. And there are some families who have had to move on several occasions, and it is a huge upheaval for the family. It could be for a person, the mum or dad, who is working in around the local area. It could be somebody who has been schooled and colleged in the local area. And it is a huge concern and a huge worry. And yes, we have an awful lot more to do, and an awful lot more needs to be done in the area for tenants. One issue that we have seen coming to the surface over the last number of years, and that is student renters, where now we have a huge amount, where we would have maybe a student in a box bedroom, where he might now have to double up or whatever. And this is a huge problem that the government are going to have some very progressive plans and actions in. And this is where I would call on the Minister Present, and in conjunction with his colleague Minister Harris, that a huge lot more of conversation should take place between the college authorities and government regarding some college accommodation for students And at the moment, most colleges are even unable to accommodate their first-year students, where many years ago, I know, during my time in the last 20 years in politics, that would never have been a huge problem. But there is an awful lot more to be done, and can be done for students in colleges. And I would ask the Minister maybe to work with that with his department and with Minister Harris. I agree, like, people talk about rent freezes, and then rent freezes can bring its own problems, because you have the landlord then who doesn't have anything to invest in to his property, only to do the minimal amount of renovation or painting or whatever the story is. Have the rent caps worked? Yes, I do believe they have worked in areas. Have landlords cheated the rent caps? Absolutely, they have. And I believe that some of them have not been penalised for some of their actions. But I will go back to my original point, because we need to look after the smaller landlord, the man or the woman with 1, 2, 3, 5 properties, because in the main, most of these people and landlords are really good. They treat their tenants well. They look after their property, but they continuously have come in for negative publicity, and a huge amount of them have exited the rental market over the last number of years because of the changes, but also because of the 50% tax, because of the negative publicity. They're all tarred with one brush, and they never seem to have gotten a break over the last number of years. So in conclusion, Ken Corla, I support the bill, and let me say to the Minister that there's a lot more that should be included in this bill, that can be included, that I have no doubt that the Minister will be bringing forward in due course. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Kehoe. Deputy